when I die. And, you know, it's so great. It's like, that was it. I'm practicing this so that when I die, I will know how to leave my body and I'll be familiar and I won't be frightened. George had a maximum amount of diversion in life. And, you know, towards the end of his life, he'd say, like, I'd say, oh, you know, they want to give you this award thing. And he said, oh, I don't want it. Tell him to get another monkey. I'd say, yeah, but, you know, it's really a nice one. You should have this. And he'd say, well, if you want it so bad, you go and get it. You know, I'm not going. I'm not doing that anymore. And because it's just a big diversion. I want to plant trees. I want to be quiet. I want to meditate. And he really did draw the line. And I really admired him for that.
I mean, I've always been intrigued with George's, quote, spirituality, which is absolutely essential to him. But, you know, and he does, you know, living in the material world. So he is caught in these two worlds, a very spiritual world and a very material world. And they're both, I think, related in the sense that it's about finding the beauty in the real world to make the real world as beautiful as it can be. And that's, I think, what he was doing in Friar Park. He created such, you know, exquisite beauty there. But there was nothing airy-fairy about it. And it wasn't about somebody snapping his fingers and having somebody else do it for him. He had to do the work.
Okay, back up now.
My old friends would joke calling him Capability George, you know, like after Capability Brown, and he'd be like, get that pond, put it over there, move that hill, don't like that hill, you know, and the next week it would be pond over there, hill over there, and it would look better, you know. And he'd garden at night time, he'd garden until, you know, till at midnight, and he'd be out there squinting because he could see at midnight, you know, he could see the kind of moonlight and you could see the shadows, and that was his way of not seeing any of the weeds and imperfections that were, you know, that would plague him during the day. So he'd be able to imagine what it was going to look like when it was done. He used to say to me every day, you don't have to go to school today. Do you want to just go on a yacht in the South Pacific and run away forever? A lot of people would probably say you're an idiot for not doing that, and maybe in a way I am, but to rebel in my family was to go to school. I went to like a semi-military school. We did CCF one day a week, and that used to piss him off. Me walking around in an Air Force uniform. I was 15, and then had some little run-in with some policemen, and he told the policeman to fuck off, and that was when I realized that he was actually cool on my side and not just a scary dad, you know. And he was very, very close to me after that, and we kind of would run off down the garden and hide. Don't tell your mum kind of stuff, you know.
He was really a free person, and he did not like to be bound by rules. But he did like women, and women did like him, and he was, if he just said a couple words to a woman, honestly, he had a profound effect on people. So that was always something that was, you know, and I'm not the only one who's had to deal with this, you know, person who's well-loved. So that was always a challenge. Sometimes people say, you know, what's the secret of a long marriage? It's like, you don't get divorced. And I think, you know, you go through challenges in your marriage, and here's what I found. First time we had a big hiccup in the road, you know, you go through things, you go, wow, there's a reward at the other end of it. There's this incredible reward. You love each other more. You learn something. You let go of something. You get those hard edges get softened. You know, you're that block of stone, and you know, life shapes you and takes away those hard edges.
You have kept yourself in recent years. This led to some wild stories about the Howard Hughes of Henley.
Because I don't go discothequing and things like that where people hang out with their cameras, so they presumed that I was Howard Hughes with my big fingernails and Kleenex tissues and that kind of stuff. Bottles of urine all around the house. And, but I wasn't like that at all. I go out all the time, or a lot of the time, see friends, have dinner, go to parties.
Sounds all right.
I'm even more normal than, you know, normal people.
I've met you before.
You know all his lines about I was never a discothequer?
Well, I wasn't.
You have to drag him out of them, you know.
Well, that was back in 64.
Yeah, before
65, yeah. No, I stopped going to them around 1967, I think.
Yeah, I stopped in 1980.
What about now? What makes you cross with each other now?
Well, the last time we were cross was when George was suing me. The last time he calls me and say, I'm going to sue you. I said, no, George, don't say no. No, I'm going to sue you. I don't like what you've done. Because he wrote this song and I had it mixed by somebody else. And he didn't like the mix, so he was going to sue me. So in the end, I said, sue me if you want, but I'll always love you.
I don't want you, but I hate to lose you. You got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea. I forgive you, 'cause I can't forget you. You got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea. I wanna cross you off my list, but when you come knocking at my door, fate seems to give my heart a twist, and I come running back for more.
You're going very fast, you're going at the absolute limit of the car's tyres and its suspension, and you yourself are right on the very edge of your limit, taking it to the finest point. When that happens, your senses are so strong. And in my case, I relate it to a real experience where I came to a corner, and before I got to the corner, I smelt grass. My senses were so sharp, so exaggerated, that a car had gone off the road in front of me, out of my sight. My senses told me there was something wrong. That was grass. The car's on a tarmac-adam road. So I immediately backed off. The millisecond that you're talking about is so small. Now that's what I think George saw, and that was heightened senses to a point not only of your feel and your touch, but your feet because of the pedals, the gas pedal, the brake pedal, the sensitivity of the function of those. It's the kind of thing, if George and I talked about it, he would love that. And if you listen to a really top guitarist, how he can make that guitar talk, that's another heightening of senses that is beyond the ken, the know, the knowledge of any normal man or woman.
George had a huge circle of friends. And I think I was kind of, I was just one of them, really. I mean, I like to think that there was something special about our relationship. In many ways there was, but after George died, when you know, and we all got together, God, I thought, how do these guys all fit together? And there was a whole other mob. They used to call them the Thames Valley Gang, and these were all old, you know, aging rock stars, if you like, that had, you know, got nice little houses, and he was he had something going on with everybody.
Anything to do with racing and cars and motorbikes, that was part of the world. Then there was the music side, and then there was the movie side, and then there was the comedian side, and it was always this wonderful crowd of people, all pretending to be grown-ups. That's what was really funny about it. And we all just giggled a lot because, look at this, and we're all in this place.
He showed up one day, and he came in with 2 ukuleles, and he gave me one. He goes, "You got to play this thing. It's great, you know, let's jam, you know." And I said, "I have no idea how to play a ukulele." It's no problem, I'll show you, you know. So we spent the rest of the day playing ukuleles, and I mean playing ukuleles, strolling around the yard playing ukulele. My wrist hurt the next day. But he taught me how to play it, you know, and a lot of the chord formations. And when he was going, I walked out to the car, and he said, "Well, wait, I want to leave some ukuleles here." And he'd already given me one, you know. I said, "Well, I've got it." "No, we may need more." And he opened his trunk, and he had a lot of ukuleles in the trunk. And I think he left 4 at my house, and he said, "Well, you know, you never know when we might need them, because everybody doesn't carry one around."